I'm going to have to make an emergency landing. Hold on, Chief.
What's up, everybody? It's finally that time. No, it's not haircut time, even though it's going to be happening soon. I'm talking about Halo Infinite. It just released its demo this morning, so let's get into it. Halo Infinite has been on everybody's minds ever since Halo 5's cliffhanger ending way back in 2015. Ever since then, people have been wondering, is that it? Where's the rest? Finally, we are going to get the rest. Well, it's finally here. Finally, after what feels like forever, Halo Infinite finally released its demo this morning. And overall, I'm excited I got to see the next Halo game. I mean, on paper and in principle, I should be thrilled. I should be jumping off these walls right now and screaming top of my lungs saying, yes, it's finally here, because I grew up on Halo. No, unfortunately, I didn't have a console to play Halo 1 or 2. I borrowed it from a friend. However, my day started with Halo 3 and it hasn't stopped since. Yes, Halo 5 was a bit of a downfall. It had a lot of issues. However, it seems 343 wants to rectify those issues with Halo Infinite. Now, the demo started off with a banger. Started off with our boy Chief and this new character. Now, we don't know his name yet, but we only know him of Echo 216. He's a pilot. Starts off with him flying a Pelican straight into enemy fire. Now he's terrified, he's timid, he doesn't know what he's doing because he's never been in a combat situation before, or at least to our knowledge he hasn't. Now Ash Chief is just, this is another day on the rodeo for him, and his pilot, he's like, oh God, no, we're gonna die. And then finally they crash, and then boom, right into it. And Ash Chief is just like, I got stuff to do, you stay here. And he's just like, no, we wanna get out of here. I like this interaction. We understand that, Chief's a veteran. He's a hardcore veteran of this war. This guy isn't. He's just all we know, he's a civilian who just happens to own a Pelican, which wouldn't make any sense. But still, he's not war veteran. He's not a hardened veteran he's not a fighter that we know of, which I like him. He's a fish out of water. He'll be the people for new players who might have just started with Halo Infinite. He'll be the person they can latch on to. Now, other than that, Chief gets right into the action, jumping out of the crashed Pelican right into fire, starting off with hitting grunts with his assault rifle. As far as from there, right at the beginning, the graphics are a little off for me. They seem to be going far away from the Halo 5's more realistic design and more towards the Halo 1 and 2 design, but not so much the art style, but the graphics themselves. They're more cartoony. They're not more realistic. They're more of like an arcade style, similar to what it used to be. But the art style is not 100% there. It's just more cartoony and less realistic, which is completely okay for me. I do not mind this. It looks more like a Halo game, but it also doesn't. I'll bring that up in a second. But as the demo goes on, we're greeted to him killing, grunts. He fights some elites here and there, and he picks up some new weapons. It looks like a fully automatic BAR, or basically a battle rifle, more or less. And the visual, as far as the visuals go, as I said, they look a little blocky. However, what really struck out to me was the particle effects. They look beautiful. Halo's always been great when it comes to the particle effects. Particle effects essentially are what it looks like for a bullet to leave a gun, or the alien bullets to leave their guns. That's mostly just red and blue blobs leaving a weapon. And it looks great. It looks like Halo. That's perfect. I love that. But it looks more updated to where it fits the modern style of gaming and graphics. But like I said, going back to it, and this is the biggest issue for me, it's too arcadey. Now, perfect example of this is the Phantom flying overhead. You see it a couple times. Its pathway / graphics just look blocky and animated, not in a good way. It looks more like a Megalobox commercial rather than a war game. I don't know, it didn't look like Halo for me, at least that. Now, maybe, here's the big, this could be going both ways. Maybe it's because this Phantom is actually a banished Phantom. What's the difference? Well, if you didn't play Halo Wars 2, you have no idea what I'm talking about. The Banished are a new faction introduced in that game where they were the new bad guys. The soldiers of Halo Wars 2, the humans, they weren't fighting the Covenant. They were fighting the Banished, which were a faction of brutes that were detached from the Covenant way back during the war, run by Atriox. Now, he's not in this trailer, but he is the leader of the Banished. Now, he's mentioned multiple times, so I'm assuming we're gonna see him sooner or later. But as far as the Phantom goes, this Phantom looks too blocky, too rectangular, and its pathway just seems like it's really rigid and just doesn't flow well. Besides the point, the demo goes on, Master Chief is slaying here and there. We got to see a couple new things. We got to see like a one-directional panel bubble shield type of thing. Now, we all know bubble shields are from Halo, mostly Halo 3 when they first started, but it's not a shield anymore that covers your entire body 360 degrees around. Instead, it was just one wall. That's cool. I mean, you have to pick your battles and pick which way you want to face it. I like that. However, you also saw in the box art, you got to see Master Chief had this new gadget on his wrist. People just thought, oh, it's this new armor. However, it actually has a function in game. It seems to be a grappling hook that you saw him grappling hook from the ground to up towards the bridge. Now, question is this: can we see different types be attached, or is it just going to be a grappling hook, plain and simple? Maybe we're going to see like a flamethrower, or are we going to see like, I don't know, like a shotgun, or maybe like a stun grenade, something like that. Maybe this might be a good way for some diverse gameplay. If it's just a grab hook, that could be cool. It could lead to some interesting locations throughout maps, or it could just be grappling hook and then after a while it's going to get stale. I don't know, it's too early to tell. However, I can definitely see this new grappling hook come in handy. Why, you say? Maybe for some entertaining gameplay of get over here type things. More or less because these new worlds are massive. They're massive. 343 decided to go the opposite direction that previous Halo games have done, less linear, more open world. Now, it hasn't been confirmed yet on whether or not these worlds are 100% open world and just free to reign over wherever you want to go, but throughout the demo, it looks like players have the option to go off the beaten path, go look for some things. Exploration, I love that. Now, it might be controversial. Veteran Halo fans may not like that. I want a more linear style gameplay where I know where my objective is. I gotta go to A instead of, oh, I might wanna go skip to C, or I might wanna skip to D or F. So it all depends on how they go. Is it just going to be certain missions that seem more open, or is it just going to be the entire thing? You get dropped in this new world and it's okay, explore. I wouldn't like that, because if the story isn't good enough, if it's not gripping, I'm not going to care in 20 minutes. I'm going to get distracted by that tree over there that looks interesting, or I'm going to get distracted by that warthog and be like, why is it broken? Who did that? It's creating your own story as opposed to listening to the story the game is trying to play. So it all depends on what you want. It's Halo, it's a story game. I want to hear the story what Halo is telling. Not so much my story. That's not this kind of game. Now, other games, they do perfectly. Destiny is a perfect example of that. It's create your own story. But this is not Destiny, this is Halo. But other than that, it does open the world up to interesting possibilities and new mechanics, hence the grappling hook. So I'm interested to see what other mechanics Infinite has in store for us as far as world exploration or just interesting concepts in general. Now, the demo goes on. Master Chief slays some more people, some elites, some grunts, some jackals. He picks up some Covenant weapons that look really interesting, and I'm excited to use them once the game comes out. But then also, he kills some brutes that drop down from the sky. Now, these are Banished forces, because if you can tell, Halo's very into color schemes. Banished are red. Covenants are more purple and blue. So I'm really excited to see the Banished forefront in this game, because I was a massive fan of Halo Wars 2 and the Halo Wars in general. Now, why? Why were you a fan of the Halo Wars genre? Like, it's RTS. It has nothing to do with Master Chief. That is true. But I'm a massive fan of RTS. Plus, I just really enjoyed those characters in the game. I enjoyed Cutter. I enjoyed Spartan Red Team. I enjoyed Forge in the first game. And then just Halo Wars 2 and Halo Wars in general had the opportunity to enhance the Halo lore and enhance the Halo universe, which it did, and I'm really happy to see 343 admiring those and letting those characters possibly come into this game. Now the trailer ends with Master Chief going up into a tower. He presses his button on this holographic table, and then this brute starts talking. This hologram of brute just starts monologuing, and it's a really cool design. However, once this brute becomes non-holographic and he's like right in your face, the graphics don't work. I'm sorry, the graphics just look off to me. They look patchy, almost as if the game isn't finished. So it makes you wonder, was this demo rushed, or is this what we're getting? Is this the final product? If it is, I'm a little timid, because if it is the final product, okay, I hope the story is perfect. Graphics aren't everything, but when they're that off-putting, they're noticeable and badly noticeable. Overall, what did I think about the Halo Infinite demo? Overall, I know it sounded like I had a lot of negatives, but I really enjoyed it, mainly because Halo is my founding bricks of gaming. I started on Halo. Now, Halo wasn't my first game I ever played, but it was one of the first shooter games I played, and it's always gonna be my DNA. It's always gonna be that game that I look to with the most fondest of memories. I played over, 7,000 hours of Halo 3 forging with my friends during summers. Countless days, countless hours building things. And I really, really hope Halo Infinite gets back to those roots, gets back to the gameplay of social interactions, and gets back into just what made Halo, Halo. It seems to me that within the past couple years of gaming, all these gamings, Call of Duty, Battlefield, and now possibly Halo, they're all going back to their roots. And I hope they do that while also innovating enough to where it makes the game unique and its own take. Now guys, I haven't done a video in person in a long time, or ever, to be completely honest. Why? Anxiety be like that. I've always wanted to do videos in person, and now that I have the technology and the tools to do it, I'm gonna be doing this a lot more in the future. Now, I plan to also do more reviews in the future, because that's what I started off of doing, reviews. That's not gonna stop. I'm gonna continue to do reviews. I'm also gonna do some videos like this too, where I'm gonna be talking about a subject. Also gonna do some gaming videos in the future, so just be on the lookout for that. Now, guys and girls, ladies and gents, it's been Max Mazik telling you all to stay entertained.